So where are your stats currently right now? So you're at, is it 26 or 24, did you say?
26,000.
Cool. All right. Today's session, we have Laura. Give her a hand. Welcome to the 10K club. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. You've been amazing. What do you think the biggest problem that you had prior joining us that drove you to make that decision?
Oh, definitely getting my offer right. And I was scared to admit what I knew my offer was, because I didn't want to be seen as unethical in my profession. So, but it's given me, after 13 years, the guts just to do it. And state the obvious. I help people earn more money.
we worried about, so that a lot of people do really worry about that, don't they?
Yeah, I think for me as well, because in dentistry I am registered, I'm still registered as a dental nurse, and obviously I've got a lot of, within that registration, a lot of things that I've got to uphold to, so being ethical, putting patients' interests first, blah blah blah. And it bodes well for me in my career to still be registered. People like that I'm still registered, but then that has also been my big blocker of, gosh, I don't want to be struck off, because that wouldn't be good. But now I've just decided I don't care. I'm just
so what was the moment that allowed you to realize that?
During the first section of clients and automation, getting your offer right, just writing down what do you do. And I like to write notes, and I think just I don't like to put things on the computer or anything, and I think just writing it down. And I was like, well, yeah, that's simple, that's what I do. I help dentists convert more high value patients to treatment, and I think really toning in on it's high value really makes me feel better when I'm talking and objection handling, because I'll find out, well, what's a high value patient worth to you? Oh, anything between 3,000 and 20,000. So then when I've been saying, well, it's 5,000 as a launch offer price, and this one guy went, oh, I was thinking 2,500. I said, well, you can think 2,500, but it's 4,994, and one patient, you've got your return on investment, so you can't argue about that, can you? And he was like, no.
Nice.
And he paid.
Solid. So where are your stats currently right now? So you're at, is it 26 or 24, did you say?
26,000.
Cool.
Some of those are existing clients that I have as coaching clients, so I actually go into their clinic and deliver training days. So most of them are long term. They've supported me for absolute years, especially through the pandemic as well. So I've given them, so I charge a training day at £2,000. So I've given them the opportunity to have this new product for £2,000, exchange it for a training day.
Makes sense.
And it's not been right for all of them, but it's been right for some of them. So probably about 3 or 4 have taken that, and they've paid that they've already paid. So result.
Nice. What have you liked the most about the support with us so far? And it's still early days.
Yeah.
Like as we build your offer up and automate it, what have you liked the best? Sometimes people say, live clinics versus, the group support. When people say like the group support, is it really that good? Or, a lot of people have experienced bad support. And I think in today's online space, the truth is the majority, it's like, I read a stat the other day, 94% of people buy a book and never read it.
Yeah.
Like a high percentage of people buy an online program, they never use it because they don't have the right support structure. And so we really focus down on that to make that a priority. What in your view was the best so far?
Yeah, so being totally honest with you, I haven't really been able to attend, as you probably know, but if any of your team are listening to this, the consultation clinics. And I know they're there on demand to listen back to. But so Mondays, 5:30, that's my office day, but then I'm busy with my son. I take him to his kickboxing class. So it just, and I don't know, is it acceptable for me to join at 6 o'clock?
No, but like the way
I could join at 6, but I feel like, oh, don't be some random just turning up half an hour in.
The way it's designed, like whether someone comes to different, like people in today's online space, you have to create a service that suits someone else. So for example, like those are the time schedules. Whether people turn up or not is up to them. They can have access to recorded it. And some of my most successful clients, I've never seen them on a live ever. They've
Oh,
just gone
okay.
through, they just go through the methodology. The methodology in of itself
Yeah,
does the work for
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
And so like
So
you're someone that watched that, implemented it,
yeah.
and with respect, you don't need anything more. It's like,
Yeah,
you know,
and then Thursdays is my client day, so then I'm always traveling. I leave clients at 4, so then I've tried to join a couple of times while driving. I'm like, oh, this is a bit dangerous, Laura. Don't do that because you're driving. So that's the reason for that. And I am actually, you might like to hear this. When I was first told it was a Facebook group, I was like, oh my gosh, I hate Facebook, hate it. But it's actually been really good, and thank you for the newsfeed eradicator extension, because
very
that's
good.
cool. I like, so that made me happy. And then I've found, yourself, I've only really tagged yourself and Dave. I don't think I've tagged Laura in a couple of things, but yeah, it's when I've got a question, it's answered really quickly as well, so it's pretty impressive considering you're on Clubhouse most of the time, so I get a notification every time you're on it.
Well, always multi-purposing. But what have you liked about the methodology so far then, in terms of how is it, like sometimes people say the closer process, sometimes people say ad structures, sometimes people say webinar structures, but so far, what have you liked the best?
So I've definitely liked, from my point of view, the writing part, so getting my offer right. I'm yet to do the webinar, which I'll talk to you about. I know why. Putting the content together for the ad as well, that's been good. Rewriting my website page for the whole of the program's been great, and it's just what you do I've mimicked, so it's really helped me. So I have a weekly consultation clinic. I have, so I'm mimicking what you do, which I know you said we have permission to do. So there's loads of things, like even right from the start with you guys, you fill in a form, then you book a call. Yeah, that's great. Why haven't I been doing that? I didn't speak to you. Obviously, you've got a big company, but why are people still speaking to me? That takes up so much of my time, like trying to get this call in with you. I was like, I don't mean to be a diva, but I'm a victim of Ed's success because I haven't got any time. So things like that, which I'm working on as well. So that's all been really important to me. The webinar, the structure, the way you explain it all in the in 8.0 as well, where I've listened to you with the webinar, you're like, don't spend time on this, just get it done. That was actually a bit of a wake-up call for me, because I'm faffing around on it for far too long. I've put it all together, I've got it all in a Word document, it's there. So yeah, the whole method is there, and it's fantastic. There are a couple of elements that I'm struggling with. What I would also say with the closer process, which might, use it as a testimonial if you want, I can sell ice to Eskimos, all of those sayings, pull them out of the water. That's me. I don't have a problem selling. However, I haven't overlooked the closer process. I always had a sheet that I used anyway, and I haven't overlooked it. I've gone through it and I've refined what I do and what I say. And I have just, really gone in deep with people. How is this making you feel? If we don't do anything about that, then what's going to be the consequence of it? I have got, I've gone from 1 page to 4 pages that I go through with them. So I have taken that a lot further.
Nice.
I have put energy into it. I'm not saying, because we can always improve, can't we? We can always change things. And I've done my selling process on the phone, I've done for years. So it was good to learn something new, mix it up a little bit, have a bit more structure. I haven't got an issue handling objections. I have got an answer to every objection, which is, I know what some people struggle with, but I don't, because I've had so many years of dealing with objections. But the discovery part, going in deeper, how's that really making them feel, really knuckling down on what their problem is. And relating that to others. Many of my clients feel the same way, and then they open up more. So I've really gone in a bit more on that. So that's been fantastic as well.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, you are someone really experienced, and still, like, I love, it's simplistic, but yet massively powerful. Like the first thing you said. So for example, the offer codex, getting your message really clear, is, most people, like, honestly today think, oh fuck, fuck off, like it's just so lame. But I promise you, like that
Yeah.
just that component, if someone was to understand how to language their message, it, as you said, it eradicates personal belief issues, it eradicates, like, now you know it's landing, that increases the sales process, increases
Yeah.
your ability to convert, you know,
Yeah.
on any landing page. Then yeah, the process of going through see, like, a lot of people say that now they can see a structure to number two, is what you said, how to structure an online business so that you can be efficient,
Yeah.
get your client results, get the support processes in place. Because
Yeah.
when you start to go through it and you see how we train our team up, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
different levels. You'll
Yeah.
love it. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, like we have training on the train. So for example, if Dave's training the team, I'm giving
Yeah.
Dave feedback on his training,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like double dissociated, like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
because
so
people,
important though, isn't it? And the
it's
other thing
really
I'd say
important.
this has done for me is sort of, you know, definitely re-inspired me. I mean, I'm still in a place where I feel mentally exhausted in life. Um, but that is going to change.
100, like, because once you get the systems in,
Yeah.
like every step of the way, it does get easier.
Yeah.
Most people give up before they even get to a position where they're making sales consistently.
Mm.
And you have to have the systems in place. There is that process where for
Yeah.
some it's learning a lot, right? But once you've got those systems up, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, straight up, I don't really do an awful lot. Like,
Mm.
you know, like I can choose to spend where my time is spent, and I'm not, you know, someone that is, you know, there are a lot of people in this, you know, at the same sorts of levels as us, and they work, you know, like all day, every minute. And
Yeah.
I'm really, you know, I took a year and a half off, you know, without being there, and it
Yeah.
still consistently grows month and month and month without. If I die tomorrow, there is nothing that changes, bar
Yeah.
some of you complain for about a week, and then you'll be like, fine, okay,
Yeah.
it'll be fine. And it will be
Yeah.
replaced by someone else.
Yeah.
And so, like, building infrastructure is the next stage for you. And then yeah, the last one you mentioned, the closer process, I would say on average, you know, that's, you know, 100x ROI in most people's businesses, because they've never really had that sort of detailed approach
Yeah.
without having to be a, you know, pushy sales process. But look,
Yeah.
that being said, I really appreciate you. What do you think you would say to someone that was on the edge of joining, that was scared? A lot, you know, a lot of people are maybe, you know, were you worried about the investment, or were you worried about anything particular, or was there a hesitation at
I
all?
would say no. I'd say invest. One, the main thing was, so I came across you on Clubhouse, and like I just said, I get a notification still every time you're talking, which is a lot. And what I loved, because even you'll know this, some of the people that you're talking with, they sell things for really cheap, JL Club, whatever it's called, $7 a month, you know. And I had spent 18 months trying to build this program and sell it for cheap to try and like recover from the pandemic, and it went against everything I ever have stood for in myself. I pride myself on being the second most expensive dental consultant in the UK. I'll overprice Mr. Chris Barrow one day. However,
Chris, you're going down.
yeah, Chris, it's not actually, he's actually smashing it, mate. You wouldn't believe what he's doing. But anyway, he's a great support to me, so that's cool. But what I liked was you don't need to sell things cheap. You don't want people to sell things cheap. So that was the first thing, because I don't want to sell something cheap. So if you believe in your product, you believe in what
Let me
you
just
do.
pause you 1 second. Let me interject into that. So
Yeah.
like the thing is, you know, like, look, I appreciate everyone in their own markets, they've got their own agendas, etc., whatever. But like the majority of businesses that are under 1 million that try to start charging cheap are because they're copying someone else's infrastructure, and they don't realize that that infrastructure has a huge back end.
Mm.
And so that this is the majority, unfortunately, don't make it, because and also it makes sense, I suppose. You think, well, if I start small and build up, it must be an easier
Yeah.
approach. And so it's counterintuitive to actually start at a higher price, even if you're starting,
Yeah.
sell it personalized, one-to-one, then to one-to-many, and then you validate there, and you can offer personalization, which is what people want, which is more premium. Your confidence builds quicker, your ability to validate your offer builds quicker. And so
Yeah.
look, I'm excited that you got that, because not many people get that. So I just
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to
that was really
interject on that.
important to me, because I don't want to be you know, selling things cheap. I didn't want to be selling it cheap. And
Because
then
down the line, once you have a value ladder and you
yeah,
have all of that infrastructure, then you can do front end conversion at a cheap price.
yeah,
Do you see what I mean? Because you got the
yeah,
back end and you've
yeah.
got the
And I've got other
infrastructure.
products sitting there. I sold one yesterday, 500 quid for 2 people to do it. Like, I've got cheaper stuff sitting there. This is my main thing. This is my
Yeah.
USP of what I do anyway.
Makes
So
sense.
I didn't want to sell it cheap. So that was important, that you weren't going to let me sell it cheap. That I knew that. So I was like, okay, you'd help me with the confidence to not sell it cheap and not be knocked down. And then speaking to Ava, by the way, was amazing. She's like, yeah, you sell it at this price, then you'll go to that price and you'll go to that price. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes that's all it takes.
But that's
sometimes
what you need. So
sometimes that's all it takes, right? Someone like with a stronger belief.
Yeah.
And like that's,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we see day in, day out. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, cool. Go on. Next
I
step.
think the other thing, that I'd say is, so that obviously attracted me, and then you were going to help me get my offer right, because I knew that was my problem, and that I skirt around what I do, and I can never just deliver a message quickly because I don't want to offend anybody based on, past experiences of offending people and being torn to shreds by, quite frankly, sociopaths. You just realize as you get older that they're just very strange, odd people and complete narcissists. But apart from that, it was really important to get the offer right, and no, I wasn't going to be able to sell it cheap, and you were going to give me a method. Now, everything I do for my clients is a method, it's a system. So it was like, I liked that. I'm going to get a system just like I give my clients. But so what would I say? So my PA, for example, she's got this amazing business. She's a virtual assistant, but she's got another business. I love it. I think it's amazing. And quite frankly, if she doesn't do something soon, I'm just going to say, right, I'm going to buy it off you, love, because it's brilliant. And so I was with her on Friday and I said, look, Alison, the main things you're doing is your price is too cheap at £35 a month. It doesn't represent value. People think it's too cheap, so it's not going to be good. You haven't got your offer right. Your message is so mixed. And it's all about talking to people on the phone and learning to sell on the phone and close them. If you do those things, then I think you'll be flying. And she was like, well, how much do you think I should sell it for then? I said, well, I'm telling you now, Ed would say at least £1,500 just to start with. Maybe it's 2,000, but that's your negotiating price on the phone. And she was like, oh, wow, really? I was like, yes. So you're going to sign up or what? So, yeah. And I said to her, it's definitely well worth the money. Money-wise, I expected it to be the price I was given. I wasn't surprised by the price.
What would you say to someone that's worried about, like, should they join or not?
Well, as I said to Alison the other day, just sign up, pay for it. You're paying for it, so you're going to use it. That's the other thing as well. So you're going to use it. If you know what the problem is, it's quite simple to get it fixed when you follow the method, and you've got advice 24/7 essentially. And then you've got people in your team like Ava who just tell you what to do. And that's like just what you need. I was dilly-dallying about prices. I'd put it on the group. David said, yeah, great, go for it. I'd asked a question about corporates, which you'd come back to me on. And, in less than 5 minutes, Ava was like, these are your prices. And I was like, thanks. And I've run with it.
They call her Ved in our community. She's a hybrid of myself. But look, Laura, thank you so much. Cool. I appreciate you so much, because it doesn't work without amazing people like yourself. And look, let's give yourself a massive hand. I'm super excited for your next steps. Okay. Let's get you clear and sorted for your next steps then.